Warning, here are the tax deed mistakes that you need to avoid if you want to profit with one of the best ways to make money in real estate, which is tax deed investing, allowing you to buy property sometimes for up to 90% below market value and buy cheap property sometimes for as little as $50. Sounds exciting, sounds questionable sometimes. What are the mistakes you need to avoid? So that's what we're going to talk about here, is the simple mistakes that you need to avoid, that you need to stay away from, and the warnings and the red flags when you are deciding to get into tax lien and deed investing. So I'm Dustin Hahn. This channel is totally dedicated to helping you get started in real estate with an unconventional way of cracking into real estate so that you don't have to pay super high prices or full price on Zillow, because there's a reason most of their millionaires made their money in real estate. It's because it can be safe, secure, and predictable if you know what you're doing. So tax deeds, let's clarify. Half the states are tax deeds, half of the states are tax liens. In a tax deed state, you can buy the property, the opening bid is the back taxes, and the beautiful thing about a tax deed sale is it wipes out the mortgage because it's the priority lien. So let's say it's a $100,000 house, a $50,000 mortgage, say the taxes are $5,000, and say it sells for 10 grand, all of that mortgage gets wiped out. And you can extrapolate. If it's $1 million house and a $400,000 mortgage, the mortgage is going to be wiped out, which is great. However, let's talk about the dangers, okay? So the first thing you need to be careful of is things like clouded title and doing proper research on the property. So what that means when you're researching title is you want to make sure that the county has sent out all of the notifications to everybody on the chain of title, okay? So let's say, for example, maybe you're a mortgage holder. You did a hard money loan on a property and the county doesn't send you a notification saying, hey, this property, the taxes are owed, pay the taxes or we're gonna wipe you out. So say the county didn't send out that notification properly. In that situation, you're gonna have a problem. Now, most of the time you can get the sale voided because the county didn't do their job correctly. However, it's very important. The next big mistake to avoid is avoid properties that have city or county liens on them. This is important because the beauty of a tax deed sale is it wipes out liens and mortgages. However, the county's not the biggest fan of wiping out their own liens on properties. So say, for example, it's a house with a big yard and maybe the county has done some trash removal or maybe they've been cutting the grass and then they've been putting liens on it and that's been gathering interest. I've seen grass mowing liens for as high as 50 grand. So you want to avoid those, okay? The other thing that you need to understand is redemption periods and rights of redemptions, okay? So for example, Texas has a 6-month redemption period on most of their properties. So you win the bid that day, but you can't sell it for 6 months, okay? Now, you could rent it out if it's vacant. However, you have to wait 6 months. Another big mistake in Texas, be aware of homestead properties or at any auction in any state, watch out for homestead properties and special exemptions there as well. The other big thing is, we mentioned this in the last video, be aware of things like environmental issues. I don't like to buy things that are, maybe it was a gas station or a laundromat or an auto body shop, things where it can seep into the soil. That can be bad news. So you want to avoid that stuff as well. The next thing you want to watch out for is find out, a lot of the times when you buy at the tax deed sale, it brings the taxes up to date. However, a mistake people make is sometimes it's not like that. So maybe there's, it's taxes that haven't been paid in 5 years, or maybe there's a bunch of outstanding taxes, but maybe there could be 3 or 4 other years of taxes owed as well. So it's very important to do that, okay? Now, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dustin Hahn. If you like this stuff, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. We do something very unique here on this channel, and we teach you how to get into real estate, but unlike all of the other channels where, they have things that they're selling, which we do too, it's a YouTube channel, the unique thing about us that's different than anything else is rather than doing seminars, what we do is we actually take students to in-field auction trips. So if you want to do tax lien and deed investing in person and actually learn by doing, not from a seminar, there's a link below in the description and a QR code here on the screen. You can book a call and actually come join us at a live in-person auction. We're going to help you bid and learn how to do it, take you by the hand, and we'll do all this for you and save you 5 or 6 years of trial and error. So we're doing those in Texas and Philly and Florida. So there's a link in the description, or scan the QR code if you want some help coming to a sale and actually doing this, okay? Back to it. One of the other things you need to be aware of is property condition issues. So when it comes to tax deeds, the thing you need to be aware of is the fact that you always want to have boots on the ground, either yourself or an updated photo of the property. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they go and bid on the property based on, say, the Google Streets and Trip, or sorry, not Streets and Trips, the Google view on the Google map, right? The problem with the Google Street View is that picture could be years old. One of the mistakes I see all the time is people will go, they'll bid, they'll buy a property, they didn't go look at it, and they didn't realize that 2 months ago there was a fire. That property's not there. Or there was a flood, right? Or something has happened to the property. So you want to always make sure to go and get an update picture, whether it's you go yourself, you send somebody, you can use a service like TaskRabbit and get somebody to go take pictures for you is key. Another mistake you need to avoid is overbidding, right? Getting caught up in the moment, getting caught up in the heat of the moment, like the song. You don't want to overbid on something, and always have an exit plan going into the property. That is absolutely huge, because no matter how good the deal is, if you can't sell it, then what's the point, right? Another thing to avoid is property in the middle of nowhere. There's tons of cheap little lots in the middle of the desert, right? You want to avoid those types of properties as well. Those are several things you want to avoid. The other thing that I would avoid is if you're going to travel to an auction in person, make sure that there's plenty of property for you to go look at. A big mistake people make is if they travel to an auction and maybe they're like, yeah, I went to an auction, it sucked, everything got redeemed. And I say, well, how many properties did you go bid on? Like, oh, I had 10 on my list and everything got redeemed. So when we actually travel, we like to make sure there's at least 100 properties we're gonna look at, which is why we like going to the Texas auctions in Houston, because we have a couple hundred properties. We show up, we're there for 3 days, and over those 3 days, what we do is day one, we go look at 50 properties. Day two, maybe we'll look at another 30 or 40. So we have almost 100 properties that we can bid on. We know that the day of the auction, that's gonna dwindle down to maybe 15 or 20, but it's worth our time to hop on a plane and go to get those home runs and get some big wins. So that's one of the reasons why we like Texas, which is also where our in-person training is. So if you want to come to a tax deed auction and learn from experts, there's a link in the description, a QR code here. That's what we do. I try to give away everything on the channel as far as the training, and part of our business is we go to the auctions, we bid, and we're like, hey, let's bring people with us. You know, when I went to my first sale, I ended up meeting a mentor at the auction. He showed me how to bid. I went with him. He showed me what to look for, what not to look for, and he revealed to me, when we went to the auction, everything sold. And he's like, no, we're gonna come back an hour later, and there was another auction for the people who bid, but they didn't pay for the property. So that's how I got my first one. I met my mentor there. So if you wanna come join us at one of these sales, there's a link below in the description or a QR code. You can come do that and learn by doing. So those are some of the simple mistakes to avoid when you're getting into tax deed investing and tax lien investing. Another mistake to avoid is don't buy third-party lists. You don't know how old that data is. I've seen people make the mistake, they go to an auction, they research the property because they took the easy way out. They bought the list rather than just getting it from the county and doing the work. And what they did is they looked at all properties from the month before. So always get the list directly from the county. So those are the simple things. Guys, it's time to take action. It's time to get started in the business. You can check out some of our videos. The easiest thing you can do right now is just call the county and find out when their tax deed sale is, find out if they have any properties left over. Get started. We have everything on this channel to help you get going. And like I said, if you want more help, there's a link in the description. You can come join us at a live auction. We'll take you by the hand. We'll save you some trial and error, and we'll do most of it for you to teach you by doing, not just stuffed in a seminar room. So it's time to get started, and check out some of the videos. Thumbs up, subscribe if you like it. We'll see you in the next video.